What the fuck? I mean, NVIDIA is now helping with the open source drivers?
I know, right? Looks like they finally came to their senses, Ven.
Yeah, yeah, that's good work and stuff. Good on them. Yeah.
In the
Wait,
meantime, AMD's still cocking everything up with their drivers.
Wait a second. How many higher-ranking NVIDIA employees have missing children?
I'm busy working on the show, guys. I'll get back to you in a minute.
Then you can't lie to me.
Define high ranking.
Ah, Christ on a crouton.
Are you looking to promote your upcoming or existing open source, closed source, Indiegogo, Kickstarter, or Greenlight project for as little as 35 wet stinky cashes? Send us a note at show@linuxgamecast.com for more information. Coming up on this Linux GameCast Weekly. NVIDIA gives back to the community? ? Dolphin 4.Z brings the emulation. Gabe counts to 3. And Carmageddon Reincarnation might be a real boy. Then we throw the chairs at Legend of Dungeon. All this, plus your hate mail. Let's go. And welcome back to another Linux GameCast Weekly, the show that covers the latest Linux gaming news, reviews, how-tos, and most importantly, whatever the hell else we come up with. This week we're going to be talking, of course, about Valve, a bit of stainless news, a video game that's also a musical. NVIDIA apparently has lost their damn minds. Then we're going to throw the chairs at Legend of Dungeon. But joining me every week, this sweet, sexy Iron Maiden of a beast, Massus Fang. He bounces so well.
Bounce!
And from Portugal on
Shit ADSL connections,
That's one way of putting
4x3
it.
is what you're getting.
Right. So, before we get started, we do like to catch up and see what's been going on all week. You might have saw that I posted on the pluses, Metal Beer, Trooper,
Trooper.
Iron Maiden the beer. I've already had my other one.
You take my wine, but I take your two. You fire, I don't know what kind of booze rhymes with musket, but yeah.
It's alright. At £5 a bottle, it's a bit much. Outside of that, I've still been cocking around with the Nexus 10, have some early seeds of making it faster sauce brewing. And what do you have going on, Master Svang, since you're...
Absolutely nothing.
Brilliant! How about you?
Well, I've finally come to the conclusion that AMD and FGLRX can come suck my brown Mexican dick.
Oh,
Seriously.
Really? You know, this is why we put him in the remedial class, Ben.
I'm serious though. I mean, fuck AMD, fuck FGLRX, fuck them right in the ass. With that said though, props for not being NVIDIA and actually contributing to the open source driver. We'll get to that later on in the show, but thanks for not being NVIDIA and, thank you. That said, again, the open source drivers are currently faster on my calculator than FGLRX ever was. So,
Brilliant. So,
And there you have it.
how about we whore ourselves out for a moment, Jamie?
Yeah, sure. Let's get naked and go to linuxgamecast.com/podcast.
Tweak my nipples.
Oh, yeah, tweak my nipples, put clamps on them, run current through them. Oh, yeah. Click on some RSS feeds for SD video, HD video, and SD audio. We got Amazon affiliate links. Give us some of that microtransacty goodness. We have donation buttons because we are run entirely on donations and our own wet stinky cash. So we need your help. All the money goes back into the show, giving equipment to poor Mexicans who can't afford it otherwise. We also have our YouTube. Oh no, we got our forums. Or
Well, yeah,
I
I
don't
guess we do, don't we?
we do have one
Preparation!
Preparation! You can't see it, but Ben didn't have the forums queued up. We have chat realm static, linuxgamecast.com/discussions-2. We have our little forum there. You can sign up with any account. Join in the fun. Bunch of random crap happening. It's not really moderated, so you can say and do whatever the hell you want. And it's where we are the other 6 days of the week when we're not screaming at your general direction. There's also our YouTube page, youtube.com/LinuxGameCast. Look at me in that wonderful green shirt. You can see what I'm actually wearing and watch all our videos. Yeah. Ooh, there's that. And we got a Facebook page, some third world country we have it outsourced to, I don't know. And we got our second favorite Kiwi, Beat with the Ugly Stick, reddit.com/r/Linux_gaming, where we basically get all our material for this show. So go there, participate, upvote, downvote. Who knows? Something you post may end up on the show. So, Ven, I hear you have something you want to tell the chillins.
Well, gather round, crackers, gather round. Uncle Newell has something to tell you. And if you were in the live show and chat realm dynamic, that would make sense.
Context.
Brilliant. If you have a Nexus device, be it a Nexus 4, Nexus 7, Nexus 10, once you have the bootloader unlocked and you get CWM installed, it's easy sauce doing the ROMs. But those first 2 steps, when I initially got my Nexus 10, going through that night, I was like, I really should write a script, but you know what? Somebody already did this. For Linux, this takes your previously 10, 15-minute step-by-step installation to unlock and root your system down to about 2 minutes. Super easy to use, and you might use this to root this, put Titanium backup on there if you might have some ROMs or some emulators and shit that require root, which I don't really know any off the top of my head. Kind of stretching this to relate to gaming, but infinite time savers for anyone who has a Nexus 7 or a 4 or a 10. That will be in the show notes.
Mm-hmm.
That was
and
a
now
bit of
that
stinker.
tangent is out of the way, we have some sort of odd odor we have to deal with. I need to get the Febreze.
We can smell it from all the way here.
It's not as foul as it usually is, though.
Well,
No,
it's because the
it
movement.
smells a bit like a penguin when you really just
I'm getting that
pellets.
fishy scent now.
It's been moving around lately. In fact,
Perhaps, and it's our Steam
Linux
Update
of
of
the
the
week.
week.
And sweet mother of Jesus and love, this is we got a lot of Gabe coming out this week, don't we?
Yes, lots of big news coming out from Steam HQ, Steam OS,
Steam
a brand new operating system for your living room
Steam
face.
is coming to a new operating system. Wait, Linux is new. All right.
It's GNU.
Oh, zing. So,
Good news.
yeah, this is like the whole thing. Steam OS, which is still not available for download, as a recording.
Yeah.
As of this recording, anyways.
Living room and Steam, fast forward, all this fun stuff. Can't really say a whole lot about it until I get my hands on a wet, stinky copy. J-Man, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I might toss it on the old Steam box. I'm curious to see. I'm betting it's based off of Ubuntu 12.04 LTS. Take a shot. But it's probably quite modified. It's just using that as a base. I kind of don't like Ubuntu sullying my computers, but I might give this one a shot. Because, you know what? The streaming feature seems pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Although, at this point, they could basically get it to work with any distro. They could base off of anything. It works
You know what? It
everywhere.
could be LFS, too. Who knows?
Yeah. But it wasn't just the OS that was announced. There was something else.
The machine.
3 whole announcements of it.
Welcome to the machine.
Called it.
Yeah, I think everyone called this a mile away, and I think a reporter, well, one of the reporters we talked to last week when this was announced, me and Pedro had a chat with him, definitely had they knew what they were talking about the entire time, even though I was like, no, and he was like very hard set, like, no, this is how the Steam box is going down. We're like, no, it's not. Am I telling the not truths?
You're right on. And there's one thing I'm still, curious about the Steam boxes is how many firstborn / goat / versions do I have to sacrifice to get my hands on one of the beta devices?
Finally be relieved of your calculator.
Yes.
I'm wondering, I mean, when will we see the first Microsoft Steam box?
Microsoft Steam box. You know what? It might happen. Who knows?
It's going to happen. If they send it out to some people, it's going to happen.
But yeah, I knew that they weren't going to just come out with a base model. There's going to be just like, it was going to be a minimum spec, and they were going to have other manufacturers go out and do their own thing with it. Because Valve has always really been about PC gaming, and that's always been about choice. So.
But they do have the 5-step plan on how to participate, basically join the Steam universe. So agree to the hardware, make 10 wet, stinky friends, create a public Steam community, right, and play a game using a gamepad in big picture mode, which was the only thing I didn't know. I had a good laugh on Linux_gaming, our subreddit. There was actually a post. It was like, I don't have any friends. Somebody be my friend.
I saw that one too.
Ladies and gentlemen, Linux gamers have no friends.
And the thing on top of that was the 30 replies. I don't have any friends either. And I was like, these are win bros. These are win bros just trying to get you free stuff.
Oh man! But you know what? That controller with its nipples.
Yeah, the nipples.
Oh,
I don't know. Looking at the controller itself, I mean, I get cramps just from using one of these.
Maybe if you rub the pads enough, you'll get two analog sticks that pop out.
Well, I think if we can go back to the
Shart realm.
Static. I drew a simple diagram for the button placement. We have our aim button, trigger, and crowbar. So, if anyone was curious.
Yeah, it's effectively got 3 touchpads. It's got the nipples and the touchpad.
The areolas.
And I saw the trigger, the way they laid out the triggers on the back of the controller, and I get cramps using one of these. Let alone having to, push the triggers down here.
I'm gonna reserve judgment until I actually get one of these in my hands, because it looks weird, but they've done research on it. They've tested.
What they're trying to do is, let you play a first-person shooter with a controller that doesn't suck. I mean, because right now,
an admirable goal. I'll give them that.
This. As much as you gaming bros like to think that, you're totally going to pwn some PC gamers, I don't care if you're even a Windows gamer, on your Call of Duty and all that, once you get rid of your auto lock, your auto aim and all that, we will annihilate you.
You need a mouse to play first-person shooters. That's the long and short of it.
So maybe this is going to... Well, I think maybe this is going to smooth it out. I think one of the best quotes I saw, on R Gaming was, because everyone's like, it's completely different. Nobody wants this. And there was a quote from Henry Ford. And he said, if I had asked everyone what they wanted, they would have said a faster horse. Thought that was very relevant.
It is. But you know what? I hear, Ven, you got some burning retribution going on in your pants.
Well, they did make a cream for it, but it's still a storm now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of
Actually,
a
it's been
prison.
sort of forgotten.
Forgotten Prison DLC. This is a thing from a game that is as old as Linux itself.
Yep.
Though, I mean, this has been around. Steelstorm. It's been around for a long time. This is a bit of DLC. Dude made the game. No, I'm going to talk to him every now and then. Give me a mention of this. And he said, this is what I really wanted Steelstorm to be in Genesis. And you probably almost have to have this game if you've ever bought a Humble Bundle.
Yeah.
And
it's like if you pay over the average, then they add it to every single bundle. It's kind of stupid.
Right. I mean, it's like giving bees to everyone. You get Steelstorm.
You get bees, and you get bees. Everybody gets bees.
And it's priced right to just try it out. I mean, you're going to be out £2 worst case scenario. And it's multiplayer online, which is great. We've done a play.
You can actually play with the devs because these lobbies are empty.
Yep. But, it's a good DLC, and for $2, you get some stuff that was already included in previous DLC. And this caught my eye. If you scroll down to the bottom of the page, you see Windows requirements and Linux requirements.
Yay!
He who shall not be named is missing.
Any current Linux distro. Wow.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe then I've got to round to that. But Pedro, what are your thoughts on Hippotis Hoppitus?
Hippity hoppity?
No, Hippotis
Hoopity.
Hoppitus.
Hippotis?
Hoopity joop.
Hippotis? No.
Flippity floppity floop.
You see, after all this time banging on this horse, we finally found a new strain of disease. At first we thought it was the bubonic plague, but as it turns out, it's the bubunny plague.
And it's...
I see what you did.
Yeah, he had to reach for it, but he finally got there. Much like his education.
From the creators of Curse of the Nordic Cove, the #1 golf zombie apocalypse simulator.
Let's check this out. What got my attention was like, I talked to him on Twitter, and I said, we're going to make it a musical. I was like, right. So a musical, the game. He's like, oh, don't worry. It's going to be a musical with plenty of blood and gore to lighten the mood. So, yeah, this definitely might have to be a shut up and take my money type game if this gets released.
Don't shut up and take my money.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's in the notes now, like that now, isn't it? So,
I got a kick out of that one.
This...
Yeah, all in all, it sounds like a lovely tea party.
Yeah. Give him the yes on this if you like that the beta is over. I mean, it's going to be coming out. They're almost done with it. I just wanted to give these guys a mention because, granted, Curse of the Nordic Cove wasn't the greatest game in the world, but I genuinely like these guys' sense of humor, J-Man.
Yeah, I like their style. I gave them a yes on Greenlight.
Granted, I mean, Curse of the Nordic Cove was interesting. It had its problems, but it was interesting. And I'm all for, blood and gore. But something about the trailer hasn't quite sold me on this game.
You know what? I
have to get my hands on it.
I'm trying to get tickets to Evil Dead the musical when it comes around to Toronto. That's going to be fun.
Well, P-Man, our favorite unicorn is listening.
Oh,
yep, that thing.
But it's no unicorn wizard, I'll tell you that.
It is not, man. This was an update sent out. I get this via email from Carmageddon. Reincarnation.
It's pretty much vaporware at this point, or was.
Well, Stainless is listening. Hey, guys. So I did a basically short version. I tried to put it together. This is a fiction. Well, I made this situation up. Here's how I think it went. We all loved Carmageddon, the original, right? Everyone?
Yep.
Beulah?
Got it on my phone.
I never played it.
Heathen?
Heathen!
I'm guessing, Stainless started this Kickstarter over a year ago, and they were like, yes, we got funded. Then a group of investors came in and said, you know what? Since you got, that little bit from Kickstarter, we're going to give you a fuckload more money. And they're like, brilliant, And they went, we're funded, hookers and blow, screw updates. And like for the past year, am I wrong? Basically, we got maybe a little bit of concept art, no gameplay. Nada.
Yeah, that was it. It was concept art. It was a couple of videos and pictures of the people that donated to the highest Kickstarter tiers, and that was it. No gameplay.
And I think that created such a negative shitstorm that the investors were like, yeah, maybe you might need to set, I don't know a time frame. Brilliant. So, and see above, this is what we have today. And still no firm date of anything, but P-Man, I hear they had some interesting notes on what it's getting released on.
They had a vague ETA, as it may be, and they said that the Windows version is coming out for Q1 2014, and the Linux and Mac versions are going to come out at Q4 2014. And something about the way they phrased it tells me it's going to be a shitty port.
And one thing I'm scared of is it's going to be like a one-off port, because they're not doing this cross-platform. They've already just said that.
Yeah, pretty
Then
much.
Well, that's just a bad idea. If you promise to support multiple operating systems, make your life easier. Use OpenGL-based tools, use SDL, use a bunch of cross-platform tools that will make your game run excellently on everything.
Yeah, and I paid $15 to get in on the early beta as soon as it was available.
Sucks to be you.
Well, I did the same.
Bet
but
you're regretting that
Pedro,
now, aren't you?
well, it's going to be a fun part. When we finally do get the port, they're going to be like, oh yeah, and the multiplayer. We couldn't put it on Steam, so there's no multiplayer. I've always wondered what that face looked like. At the end of the day, here we are, wrapping up our presents, all three of them from
in
Lord
a little
Master
tinfoil
Gabe.
swan that we're gonna shove under the porch, because that's been our Steam Linux update of the week. Coming up next, regular news. Ooh. Oh, it's the news section. What the hell is up with that?
It's crazy sauce.
I don't know what's going on. But you know what? I think hell froze over.
Tartarus did indeed get a bit chillier this week, didn't it?
Oh yeah, NVIDIA is actually helping a teensy little bit with the Nouveau development process, but it's not really helping much. They're basically telling people things that they already know.
That is, when I first saw this, I was like, oh, brilliant. Then I read through this, and they're like, yeah, all that stuff that you've reverse engineered, we're just going to give you the documentation just to make sure that the stuff that you already have working and you figured out completely, just to make sure that's right, because we at NVIDIA, we support open source.
Quote unquote support, quote unquote open, quote unquote source.
Indeed. So,
baby
steps,
seem to be
baby
their
steps.
genes about this, though. I don't see it. This is just, they literally said this is just to make installing their proprietary drivers easier.
Yeah, they're doing what they can to jump on board the SteamOS train without actually jumping on board the SteamOS train. They just want the money. That's it.
Yes, and I know graphics driver developments is a patent minefield, but come on, guys. Dedicate some people.
Well, don't get all torqued up about this one, J-Man.
Oh, I'm just headed right into the third dimension because I have no idea how to transition into this one.
Well,
it's Torque 3D for Linux.
Finally Gaining Ground needs donations, unlike the last failed attempt by Torque in their Indiegogo campaign. Apparently there's a dude working on it, and he's making some progress. He's gotten rid of their horrible generate system and replaced it with CMake. So no support for Visual ID for debugging. Still needs a ton of work. It runs like complete and utter ass. But it's still there. Kick him a few shekels if you want to see that continued. Not really, because Torque is old, man.
It is. I mean, Torque 2D was relevant back in the day. Right now, we have Unity, we have Ogre. Ogre is actually getting pretty good. We have Source. Yeah. I mean,
it's a neat project. Interesting one-man project. The notes will have the link to that if you want to kick him a few shekels. Help him out. It'd be nice because, there's still a lot of older games that use the Torque engine that could be open sourced.
Yep.
So,
but you know what? The Rapist emulator for GameCube just hit 4.0.
It hit 4.0. Nope.
4.0. Yes, Dolphin 4.0 is announced, and if you were paying attention to the Linux or Linux_gaming subreddit, the Dolphin guys actually made an interesting blog post about graphics drivers and the kind of work they needed to do to get shit working on them. But that's a story for another day. They have beta support for Wii official online multiplayer. They have an Android port, an ARM port, a brand new look, fast mem support for Linux and OSS, and an OpenGL video backend rewrites. Now, Ven, I hear you were having some problems with this.
We definitely did have a few problems with this because it broke 1204 LTS support.
Sucks to be you.
Mm-hmm.
Built's fine on my Fedora box.
Well, that was the whole thing. I was like, well, where's a PPA for this? And I say, no PPA. Great. Clone Git. Let's build it ourselves. I was like, I need this. Went into dependency hell for stuff I'd have to update. That would cause a nightmare with other stuff. So I just said I don't want to play the GameCube games that bad.
I was playing Smash Bros within half an hour.
I'm sure you were.
But yeah, that's one of the things they mentioned in the release article was that they supported Ubuntu x64 debs. Why? Again, only debs and only 64-bit. Why?
Pedro, is running Make difficult for you?
No, I actually managed to compile it just fine on Carora, so...
Well, that's good.
That was an interesting bowel movement you just had, Pedro.
It was.
Made me kind of tingly in my naughty chamber.
You know what? It's all that feijoada he's eating.
It's like a war's going on.
Well, don't futz with it, because
regions.
we're almost done with the news, but tell us about this.
Speaking of wars, how about some Battle of Worlds in your stomach?
Yep. Battle Worlds Chronos. Actually, I'd like to send out a big thank you to Jan from King Art Games for giving us preview access. Now, with that being said, again, Ubuntu debs only. You're doing it wrong.
Use a tarball.
So,
it's better for everyone.
yeah, use a tarball or, leave the source code for the client so we can compile it ourselves. Anything. Just, come on. But I did manage to get it to work, but not before I rage quit. And actually, if you look in the notes after the show goes up, you can see that I actually rage quit at some point, but then I got my headgear and figured it out exactly what it needed. And if you're running Fedora or something derivative of, you can look up in the notes. You just have to run those three commands I left there.
The steps for other Linuxes should be about the same, though. Really, it's just they have a missing library that a Python thing is calling. And
so, P-Man, what's this game about, man? I've never heard of it.
It's it's sort of like Command and Conquer, the original ones. It's a very turn-based strategy. Okay, I'm probably not the best person to ask because I don't like strategy games all that much, but it looks good. And it works fine after you're done linking and copying shit over.
And if you want to get into the closed beta right now, it's going to cost you $29.95 wet stinky caches. So keep that in
that's
mind.
a bit wet.
Yeah, it's battle-worlds.com.
Yeah.
I mean,
Cross-platform gaming.
Massive challenges. Red fucking dots.
Yeah, it was a massive challenge
And
just to get it to
green
run.
Well, maybe they can get on green light and that'll be one of your badges.
Yeah. Anyways, that wraps up our regular news segment. Coming up next, we have some legendary chairs for Legendary Dungeons.
Sweet.
Because it's ratting up.
And it's time to throw some chairs at Legend of Dungeon, developed by Robot Loves Kitty, available on Steam for 10 wet stinky caches. It's a Unity game, but it's one of these pixel dungeon crawly types, where you bop around a dungeon and find monsters and treasure and then get killed and start all over again. So,
it's a roguelike.
Time to get into the nitty-gritty of this review system that we call our little train wreck. We have our chair explanation, Van Stone. 1 chair means that it's garbage. 2 chairs means that it's meh. 3 chairs means that it's pretty good. And 4 chairs means that Pedro gets to make his O face. And you know how much we like to see that. So we also have our 4 categories. Oh, Doom. Makes with the working. Does it work? Does it run? How well does it run? Shiny and sounds. How well does it look? How nice does it sound? And controls is self-explanatory. If you can't figure that out, leave. And our final subjective category, fun. Did we enjoy it? So, let's kick this review off. Then, did it make with the working on our 1204 Ubuntu LTS, NVIDIA, AMD, Steambox? Take a shot.
Don't hurt yourself. But yes, it did make with the working on a 1204 32-bit LTS box, NVIDIA powered. We're getting kind of used to that. So it should come as no surprise.
It's pretty hard to get like a 1-chair score on this show now, considering that you can, as long as it runs, you can get at least a 4-chair lead.
Yep.
Now you have 2 boxings to futz with.
I have 2 boxings to futz with, and it works on both of them fine. They both run Fedora 18. One's AMD, one's NVIDIA. It's all good. 4 chairs.
Yeah, even in calculator land, 4 whole chairs because, well, it ran.
It's so easy. An Arch user could do it.
No. Don't go giving them false hopes.
That's true. But mixed with the working averages out to 4 chairs. Coming up next, Shiny and Sounds. Ben, it's a retro pixel game, so I'm sure you love it.
You don't understand how much I love retro hipster pixel graphic, and that's all a complete lie. Yes. Behold, another hipster pixel game. So, Leon. The only thing saving this? Really?
Of its great treasures.
It's this bitching ass soundtrack it has for it. Huge fan of it. And when I say saves it from the 1 chair, it's going to get a meh with the 2 chairs, not a F all dying of fire. J-Man.
You know, there is such a thing as awesome pixel art. Super Brothers Sword and Sorcery is a good example of that. This game, not awesome pixel art. No, sir. That looks bland, the sprites are blobby, and so on and so forth, blah, blah, blah. I don't have the insane love for the soundtrack that Ven does. It's alright. I kind of tuned it out after a while because it was getting a bit repetitive to me. So, with that in mind, I'm going to give it the meh score of 2 whole chairs. P-Man.
Okay, I guess I have to be the one to throw the wrench in this well-oiled machine once again.
Yes, you do. Why you gotta be difficult, Pedro? Stop it. No cookie.
Because I'm difficult. It's just
you want to go back to the cage because that's where you're gonna go. Back in the cage.
But I will agree with those 2 heathens and say that 3D pixels are still pixels, regardless of how shiny you paint them. And the sound effects, they fit, but they could be better. Now, with that said, Jasper Byrne on at least 3 of the background songs you can hear during the game, top notch. That guy, he made that horror game that Flash horror game, I can't remember its name now, but it was awesome, and the guy knows his songs. And even though I wanted to give it 2 chairs like those 2 heathens, I can't. The lightning effects that they managed to pull off with their shader, great job. 3 chairs for me.
Well, what did you call it in the show notes? The Lawn Trio? It's like the stupidest name I've ever heard.
Yeah.
That's stupid. You're stupid. That averages out to 2 chairs for Shiny and Sounds. So then, our control section is up next. Did you feel like you were in control?
I'm never in control, but I gave it a shot with this, the X-Clone controller, and here's the thing. I hate dungeon crawlers, loathe hipster pixel games, but I love some solid controls. This is one of the few games that not only worked out of the box with a controller, with no setup, the default layout, completely sane. I'm not going to go so far as to say logical, but could figure it out, futz with it, and learn from it. Very tight, I guess is what I'm saying. Mr. White, those controls are tight. Yo.
Bitch.
And boom, look at this, 4 chairs, because I'll give it where it's due. Right in the pooper.
Yep.
Right in the pooper scooper. Well, you know what? The controls are pretty good. I had no real issues with them. The one thing that bugged me, though, and that's what I'm going to ding it a chair for, is inventory management is really stupid when I'm trying to get to my apples or my potions, and I have to mash the next item button 1.5 billion times to get to my weapon so I can not die. So I'll give that 3 chairs. P-Man.
You know,
Actually, I should add Xbox 360 and PS3 controller work out of the box for this. Yeah.
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 The
Pedro.
PS2 DualShock with the USB adapter works perfect out of the box. And I think it's a good thing too, because with the Steam Machines beta coming out, this is one of the games that they're going to use as a flagship because it works. When it comes to controlling with this thing, top notch. 4 chairs for me.
Well, that averages out to 3 chairs, which makes me the correct one. But
You're
it's
an
time
asshole.
for the big FUN section. Then, did you have fun?
All right, I'm just going to share a bit of the key features, quote-unquote, section from the Steam store page. Hats, 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 exclamation point. This actually genuinely might be fun with a local co-op. Might be. Yeah. But I have fuck all idea how you could ever figure out who was playing with the blobbiness, especially on a screen larger than, this big. And let's just face it, it's terribly unoriginal. There's nothing in there that hasn't been done before and been done better. One chair.
Speaking of that, this game really, really, really reminds me of the original Rogue. And I spent hours in class playing Rogue instead of paying attention to my professors, so I should know. But yeah, I really get a big Rogue vibe from this game. It gets really, but unlike Rogue, this kind of gets repetitive and boring quickly. I did attempt the local co-op. I conscripted roommate to do that. And it just becomes a race of who gets to the exit of that particular room first, because that determines who gets all the items in the next room and all the experience and all the gold. Also, the death and resurrection mechanic is kind of annoying. If you die, then your opponent has to kill an increasing number of enemies and your ghost has to collect their souls to resurrect. But when you get resurrected, you only have like 10 hit points left. So invariably, you'll come back in the middle of a fight and then get killed again, which is pretty stupid if you're trying to emphasize co-op multiplayer, which this game is.
Living dead girl.
Exactly. I will say this, though. I got a random loot drop from a monster. It looked like a little black stick. I'm like, what is this, a magic wand? Pick it up. Pen. I'm about to go back to my sword, and I'm like, wait a second. The pen is mightier than the sword. Check the stats. Lo and behold, I got a kick out of that. So that stops it from getting 1 share. I'll give it dos.
And I'll say I had very high expectations for this game. I actually expected it to have network multiplayer, so, And it didn't. It was local co-op only. So in the first 10 minutes of me playing this game, which was actually the game I used to unlock the Steam badge, this was the game I played in big picture mode.
Yeah, that was mine too.
Yeah, in the first 10 minutes,
crashed my V-Bucks.
In the first 10 minutes of playing this game, my expectations were crushed. And then I wanted to hate it, but after the initial disappointment faded away, it kind of surprised me. Granted, what Ven and Jordan already said is true. It's been done before. Hell,
that reads like
Dungeons
Nori's
of
blog.
Dreadmore and the Legend of Grimrock were actually considerably better dungeon crawlers than this one is. But
Rogue is a better dungeon crawler than this. The
Oh.
ASCII game with the @ symbol and the periods and the pipes.
But a game that can put me through an emotional roller coaster like this one did is, in my opinion, deserving of 4 chairs. Unfortunately, the lack of online multiplayer is not. So 3 chairs for me.
And now that that long expositive diatribe is over, we can say that...
What?
Our-
Oh.
Well,
Hello.
yeah. Oh, Ben,
Hello.
you're awake. Good. Breakfast is ready in the other room.
Sweet.
But anyways, our fun section totals out to 2 chairs. Once again, I have the correct score. So, totaling everything up, we got 4 chairs for Mix with the Working, 2 chairs for Shiny Sounds, 3 chairs for Control, and 2 chairs for Fun. Brings this to a big old 2 chairs. Check it out if this game is your thing. Give it a try. I would wait till it goes on sale for considerably less than $10.
Well,
Maybe.
over here in Vinland, I would say, if you like roguelikes and you didn't grow up playing pixely games and you think this is like new school for you, you might like it. If you have friends IRL style, these things I've heard rumors of, that might be a thing. As J-Man pointed out, there's some game mechanics that's just kind of like just run to the end, collect all the stuff. So that might lead to a fight or two. I'm kind of with J-Man on this. Maybe pick this one up on a sale. Not quite yet. Final thoughts, a verdict, if you will.
Do you like
Great.
roguelikes? If you like roguelikes, pick this one up because it's not going to disappoint you. Jordan's a heathen for saying otherwise.
Again, original Rogue, better than this game.
Yeah,
know
but
how many times
like
have
I
to say
said, the graphical lighting effects that they managed to pull off with such shitty graphics, great job. It's a mildly new take on the roguelike genre, but it's still a roguelike, and if you like roguelikes, you may have fun with this one. But then again, you may be in this Fungsven, and yeah, you're probably not going to enjoy yourself as much.
And then again, you could also be in Portugal. That wraps up our
Yes.
review of Legend of Dungeon. Coming up next, your hate mail live on air.
Let's go. Come on. Die. Die. Die.
Oh, it just came.
Ah, missed it.
And now that we're done with those pixels, let's get into some brand new kind of pixels. Well, they're not exactly new, it's the stuff you wrote. We're gonna read it live. If you're not watching this live, you should be.
Slick intro, that is our hate mail section where you get to scream back in our direction after we're done screaming in yours. And coming up first this week is Vector Matt. And he was talking about our Assault Android Cactus review. Matt had this to say. You didn't like Assault Android Cactus? ? Exclamation. Grabs pitchfork and torch. Heretics! More exclamation point. Long live Pedro. Down with Vin and Jordan. Rabble und rabble.
I don't get why people think that calling us heathens and heretics affect us. We actually like that title.
I mean, if it fits, right?
Yeah, if the glove fits, you must acquit. And if Chewbacca lives on Endor, you must acquit as well.
Ah.
Look at the monkey. Look at the silly monkey.
Matt, thanks. I really did like the game.
So what do we got up next? This one I just had to include because it was so weak. I kind of felt bad for the guy, and the guy we're talking about is Joe, and he sent us a note about Parasite 1.z, and says maybe of interest. Link available for new/Linux. And
I saw that, and anyone who says GNU/Linux immediately loses like 20 points of respect in my book.
the main reason I'm putting this is like, all right, man, you're the sole developer on this game. You need to work on your marketing skills.
Well, you got to work on making your game run as well.
And what is it?
What, it
well,
doesn't work?
first of all, I was like, well, all right, it's on Softpedia. Who the posts shit on Soft?
And there's a rapid share link that you need to download it from.
Oh, brilliant.
Rapid share. Oh god.
Old school.
Files Tube or one of these mega uploads.
That's some very bad, transparent. There.
It reminds me of the first Mortal Kombat game. It's just like people cutouts going around jumping.
And Here's this Blinkatron seizure-inducing website.
Why is it green though?
I don't know.
Why is it green?
But yes,
Why is it
hot
green?
file. Here's a few things,
Anyways.
man. Yeah, with that, it's a thing. It'll be in the
It
next.
comes as deb files only. I extracted them, put them in my directories. Game just breaks.
I
know,
couldn't
that's
get it to
pretty
run. Could you get it to run, P-Man?
I honestly didn't try. Sorry.
Parasite 1.0 is definitely a thing. Now for another thing. Neon XZ from Paul F. And Paul says, "Hey, chaps.
Hello,
we are
Governor."
releasing- Hello. What are we going over here? We are releasing the much requested demo of our game Neon XSZ. Today, I'm hoping you could share the news with your community. It's
Cheap
our little
money.
homage to Descent combined with frenetic.
Frenetic.
Frenetic?
Yeah. I
Frenetic.
read that as
Adrenaline.
frantic, and then I'm like, what the fuck? No, that's not right. Pumping feel and gameplay procedure mechanics of Quake, then add Diablo's loot explosions, RPG elements, leveling up, blah, 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 blah. Download the demo trailer, neonxs.com. So, did you try this one out?
Yep.
I did.
Grabbed it at Desura, yeah. And the first thing you're gonna notice is that the game doesn't launch because the executable doesn't have execute permissions, and the data folder is misnamed.
Brilliant. That
Yep.
was my first thought, you know. It's Desura. I've just figured that Desura no longer has a review team. If you submit something to Desura, it's like, sure, put it on there. There's no QA to this whatsoever. I don't expect things to launch when I click it from inside Desura, so went to the games, went to the comments directory, found it, opened up the terminal. I put a little note about this on G+ a couple of days back, and I was like, problem 1. Executable is not, chmod plus X. Fix that. All right, let's try to run that. It's like, no. Oh, SH script. Let's try to run that then. Maybe there's some variables in there. Run that, and it's like, oh, misnamed data folder. So let's rename the data folder to what it's supposed to fucking be. We do that, and it launches, runs kind of like ass.
Yeah, it controls like
Yeah.
ass. Seriously, it's just like, what the hell?
And as soon as I got into the game, I felt very claustrophobic because I was, piloting a ship in an enclosed space.
You are a 3.5 foot tall ship in a 3.6 meter high tall corridor.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's not.
Again, a thing. Check it out.
It needs some work.
But it's 50%
definitely-
off for the alpha.
It's much anticipated. Very much
Well,
anticipated.
you'll definitely be half,
Super anticipated.
only half
I'm
as
being
enraged for paying 10 wet stinky cash as opposed to 20 wet stinky cashes, because I would be hunting a motherfucker down if I had done that.
Jesus
Uh-huh.
Christ, $20 for this? Nope. Sorry. No.
So, He-Man, I think we do have a mechanism to allow people to scream in our direction.
Yes, we do. If you go to LinuxGameCast.com and you push that contact button, you can see our wonderful, wonderful feedback form. Now, do pay attention. If you're attempting to pitch a Greenlight, Indiegogo, or Kickstarter campaign, you have to have a working Linux demo. If you do not, shit's not even going to get a mention. Okay?
No, really, if you do not have something at least playable that we can test, fuck you. That's it.
Yep.
I'll drink to this.
You will literally get an email from Jordan at linuxgamecast.com that just says fuck you.
And yeah, so you just fill out the form, put in your name, your email, drop us a subject, write your message down, prove you're smarter than a bot, because now you have to be smarter than a bot. And we will be happy to get back to you as soon as we can.
So
Indeed.
that about wraps up this train wreck number 58 total. Isn't that right?
Oh, yeah.
Brilliant. Where
So
they
you can
find this?
screech on over to linuxgamecast.com/podcast to check out some interesting stuff regarding our show. We have RSS feeds, donate buttons, a handy e-stocking guide. Remember,
Oh,
toss us some money if you can. If you can't, just spread the word. Tell
What
people
about Shot
that-
Realm? Static?
Yes, Shot Realm statically linked. If you bring up LD config, you get banned.
Look at this. We've already got in there.
How to get
Quake
quick.
2 World working on you.
This was hilarious. This was going on Chat Realm before we started recording the show, and it's Pizza Dude trying to figure out how to get Quake World compiled. It's great. Check that out. You can sign up with any account too. So if you have a Twitter or Facebook or whatever, it'll all work. We got youtube.com/LinuxGameCast. Watch all our videos. Watch my green shirt. Watch Pedro's brown sock self flap on and on and on and on. Check out our Facebook page if you're into that stuff. I don't know why you would be. Check out reddit.com/r/Linux_gaming for some more crazy Linux gaming news, how-tos, tips, tricks, and discussions. So, finally, I think it's a wee bit quiet. Could use some atmosphere.
Oons.
I agree.
Probably shouldn't do the music.
Cue that music! And check this out, because at the end of the day, I am Vinstone, the Vinstone, at Vinstone on the Twitter nets, plus Vinstone cleverly disguised on G+. Scream at me in either of those if you know something that's going on, or if you just want to say how dead sexy I am. I'm always up for that. J-Man.
I'm Jordan. You can find me at The Burning Fool on Twitter, plus Jordan Svung on Google+. Scream at me, and I will eat your soul. Pedro.
Oh, true story. I am Pedro Mateos, regardless of what those two heathens keep pronouncing my name as, and you can find me at Unaccounted For on Twitter, plus Pedro Mateos on Google+. I'm probably going to be a bit nicer than those two, just saying.
So,
probably, but probably not.
I guess there's only one thing left, J-Man.
I think there is. We have to...
Iron Maiden at the lovely people!
Yeah!
You don't have Iron Maiden.
Exclude Pedro. He has no Iron Maiden stuff.
I don't have Iron Maiden.
Shun!
Actually, I do.